I have worked in the movement since 1972, first in Manchester, New Hampshire, then Warwick, Rhode Island, and then in Paterson, Passaic, New Jersey. I got my start in the Boys and Girls Club with Dave Ross in Manchester, New Hampshire. David was the unit director of the Penardville unit in Manchester, and I was a student at St. Anselm's College. And David brought me in as a work-study student. The thing that I'm most grateful to Dave Ross is that he allowed mistakes. He didn't get too thrown by mistakes, and expected that the benefits of youthful workers in his Boys and Girls Club necessarily meant that there would be occasional mistakes. And therefore persistence was a virtue that he encouraged and insisted on, and for that I'm grateful. I began working with teens that were doing poorly academically in a small suburban subsection of Manchester, New Hampshire. In fact, they were some of the poorest kids I've ever met, but they were rich in spirit. And our ability to creatively bring out their academic talent, which they didn't even know existed, was, again, very fulfilling for me. I think the most gratifying thing is when you see a young man or a young woman return who came to the club when they were children and who are amazed at what we've been able to do with the facility that they enjoyed when they were young. And that want to make sure that we know how grateful they are for the service that was provided to them. There were two clubs that we recovered that were neighbors of ours. One was a suburban club and one was an urban club. And I had the opportunity to recover an area council, a statewide group that had ceased to function, and we brought it back to one of the most productive in the country. So those were satisfying experiences. And the two Boys and Girls Clubs that were close to failure are now thriving without me, and it was a very satisfying experience. You know, I don't lack mentors, and wouldn't want to focus on one for fear of leaving too many out. There are so many shared experiences that organizations have that you really should never feel that you have to do anything alone. But you need to have people who are willing to work outside of their organizations in order to create that feeling of camaraderie that has been unique to our movement. Mentoring is a key component, and I think that if there wasn't this entrepreneurial willingness to share, then I don't think that we would have been as successful as we have been. And that's from the top, the very top here in Atlanta, all the way down. What I'd like to say is how grateful I am for this opportunity, and how grateful I am for knowing and meeting so many people who will be as surprised as I was to see me on this video. I got the phone call informing me that I had been selected for this honor, and it was really quite an overwhelming. I've been lucky to have a lot of recognition for the work that I've done, and I've been lucky to be in the right place often. But I don't think there's anything that can match being selected for this kind of honor, actually.